Peace party people, this is a surprise Father's Day special of Where My Killer Tape At. So it'll be episode 17. First up, just happy Father's Day to all the dads out there holding it down, granddads, uncles, stepdads, and godfathers, word is born. We see you, we salute you. So this is for y'all. This one is for y'all all the way out there, all the way live, all across the land, all across the world, all across the known universe, word is born. Me and my oldest son, B-Boy Sabi, will be doing a review of Mos Def and Talib Kweli's Black Star. 10 years ago, we did an actual review on it. You know, he and I did. He was 14 at the time. I'm gonna put that in the show notes. And so since the 20th anniversary is coming up in September, we thought it'd be dope that we will go ahead and review it again on my podcast. And real quick, spoiler alert, do not listen to this episode if you have not listened to Mos Def and Talib Kweli's Black Star album, and it is available. I know I got mine on iTunes, so it should be available on all platforms. So please listen to that album. You won't regret it before you listen to this one. All right? Please do that for me. All right, let's do this. Happy Father's Day.
Yes, I like the rhymes.
All of us are born with the miraculous ability to determine the direction from which sounds approach us.
Let us venture into new and uncharted land.
People get shook up, when I'm introduced as God.
You got that good hair, too.
You're the first one out there with a dashiki talking that crap.
It's like a jungle sometimes, it makes me wonder how I keep from going under. It's like a jungle sometimes, it makes me wonder how I keep from going under.
I pull up, hop out, air out, made it look sexy. They won't take me out my element. Nah, take me out my element.
Peace party people. This is once again Dan Trezomi of Where My Killer Tape At. And this is a surprise episode. We are going to be reviewing Mos Def and Talib Kweli Black Star album with the young B-Boy Sabi. Yo, what up, B-Boy Sabi?
How is it going?
What you been doing since last time we did the show?
Working, sleeping, and performing occasionally every so often, like once or twice.
Like just once or twice since that time, or once or twice?
I don't even know. I honestly can't remember. What was the last time? When was the performance? I don't even remember.
You mean the show?
When was the show? Yeah, when was the show?
It was how long ago? Man, it was. What did we do it on? We did it on.
Was it Black Panther?
Yeah, Black Panther. We did that one. So that was like February.
That was February. Okay, what have I done since February? Yeah, work, didn't perform, nothing serious. I did some stuff for Grow, #Grow. That was the domestic youth thing I did. That's Girls Recognizing Our Worth. That's a local poet named Nisha Himes. She created her own nonprofit for survivors of domestic abuse. So that was kind of the biggest thing I've done since then. She's kind of a big deal in that field. She does it for a living, and she's a survivor herself.
Oh, dope!
So
that's dope.
That was the coolest thing. That was probably the biggest thing I've done in between here and then was that show. So that was pretty cool.
Okay. And so do you as a
and GameStop and working at GameStop.
Too much information. As a spoken word artist, do you perform regularly, or do you slam regularly, or?
Well, always open mics. So open mics could be like every week. So open mics are kind of I hosted an art gallery the other week. I forgot about that. Basically, like, open mics are every week. So, like, if you want to just go out and spit somewhere, like, there's always a place to do that. So, a lot of times we all link up and do that. I do get features every now and then where people come out. Usually people just reach out and ask, like, hey, can you perform at this thing? We all know each other. So, like, if one person asks for one poet, like, oh, do you know, like, 3 other poets? We do. So that's usually how it works out. And then sometimes you just go and spit somewhere and somebody's like, yo, can you just do that at my spot? And you're like, okay, cool.
What I'm gonna do at the end of the show, we're gonna give out your contact information, and then I'm also gonna post it in the show notes so that if anybody wants to contact you, they can go ahead and do that.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
We're gonna go ahead and talk about Mos Def and Talib Kweli, Black Star, which was released on Rawkus Records back in September of 1998. Now, B-Boy Sabi, of course, is my oldest son, and he was born. Can I tell him what year you were born?
Yeah, I mean, that's cool.
1994. So The reason why we're discussing it now, because the 20th anniversary is not till September, is that in May of 1998, right before the summer, they released Definition. And I remember, shout out to the Front Free 4. That was the
Mercy.
you know, that was the Front Free 4 was the first out of Hampton Roads, Virginia. Like, that was the first online hip hop radio show, and we actually used to play it when Ruckus actually put it not on a vinyl. It was like a piece of wax. It was a square piece of wax that you played on your record player, and it had Definition. So that's how they released it, and that's how you had to get it. It was like a promo, and we played it at every show. So I wanted to do it because May was actually the 20th anniversary of Definition, and that's why I thought it would be dope. Plus, me and B-Boy Sabi had reviewed it when he was about 14 years old. So that was like almost 10
years ago, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to post that in the show notes as well. So what I want to ask you is, because, you know, B-Boy Sabi didn't live with us, so he lived with his mom, so we didn't really spend a lot of time together. And I don't recall actually introducing this album to you. I know when you came over, I played it, you know, sometimes in the background in the car or whatever, but I never like actually introduced it to you. So how did you get introduced to Mos Def and Talib Kweli at Black Star?
You know, honestly, man, this album has a special place in my heart for like 1,000 reasons. This was like my hip hop virginity was taken for real by this album. Not in the sense, like, I mean, obviously my father is, you know, he's this guy, this super hip hop guru guy. So obviously, like, I understood hip hop and was immune. I mean, not immune, but what's the other word that begins with M? Whatever. I was imbued. There we go. I was imbued with nerd culture from like a young age. But in doing that, it was kind of at a disadvantage. I didn't realize hip hop was a culture. I just thought it was the way things were done at my dad's house. So, like, all the knowledge and stuff that he taught me, I just thought that was information. You know what I mean? Like, because I grew up Christian as well. So, like, at my mom's house, we did this. At dad's house, we did this. So that was like, I didn't really know hip hop was a culture. Like, I actually growing up inside of it, I didn't realize that there was an outside of it. So when, like, I started listening to, like, music on my own in, like, high school, and developing, like, my own taste in music, I also started dealing with computers at this time. So I was really just learning how to legally download stuff. And I was like, what is good music to listen to? And I was just like, what do I want to listen to? And what do I like, you know? And I of course, I knew what I had listened to with dad. I knew I listened to at my mom's house, but I kind of wanted to be like, what do I like? And then I remembered, I used to watch Dave Chappelle's show a lot. Mm-hmm. And he always had the dopest musical guests. So it started off as me just looking up the songs from from like Dave Chappelle's musical guests. That's how I found hip hop, like, officially. That's how I discovered it on my own and, like, walked into the world of hip hop. I was like, how do I find this? Because I didn't want to hit you up. Like, I intentionally said, I don't want to call dad. Like, I was like, I don't want to figure out this hip hop thing by myself. Like, obviously, if I call dad right now, he can give me like a list of 10 rappers to listen to. I don't want that. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, I intentionally was like, I want to discover this. So I just went through Dave Chappelle episodes and Googled the different musical guests he had. And I had found this website for music, and I typed in Mos Def, and the first track that came up was Definition.
Wow.
And I listened to it. In fact, it wasn't even called Definition. It was called, the track was like, because it was like a bootleg site. So it was actually called Lions of Hip Hop. And I thought that was the name of the track for the longest time.
Wow.
So I thought the track was called Lions of Hip Hop. And that was what I thought I was listening to.
Wow.
For a goodly amount of time.
Wow.
And then I started listening, you know, then I discovered, you know, like, Native Tongues, and I discovered, like, Mos Def was like my branching off point from that. Like, from Mos Def, I found out about Native Tongues and Common and how I don't like Common, and, you know, I found out about, you know, all kinds of stuff, you know. So Mos Def kind of started me on hip hop, and this album kind of started me on Mos Def. And that all kind of started just in high school. So I kind of was just like, and I'll start with Dave Chappelle. So thank you, Dave Chappelle.
I'm actually going to tell him, because it's very ill that everything comes full circle. Because I used to teach his oldest son capoeira. So when I see him, I'm going to tell him that and thank him. So it's just crazy how that all comes full circle. That's deep. That's deep. So we're going to go ahead and review it. We're going to go to start, of course. We're going to skip over the introduction, and we're going to talk about astronomy. And you know, what do you like about it? Your takeaways? You know, pretty much. What do you think?
Man, I spit astronomy at school one time for like a project.
Oh, really?
They asked us to do. Yeah, it was an English class. It was in high school, and they were like, do something, like find an example of figurative language in music.
Wow.
And like literally, astronomy is just like one giant string of metaphors
True.
over and over and over and over and over and over and over. So it was an easy project to do. It was easy.
I just want to say that I had seen Mos Def and Talib Kweli perform separately several times, and when I finally saw them together at Rocksteady, and I think it was Rocksteady, I want to say Rocksteady 1998. This is the first song they performed together. No, I take that back. I take that back. The first time I seen them perform together, they did that song on that Talib Kweli, that Once in a Lifetime, like a Halley's Comet. Fortified Live. I seen them perform that together. Yeah, but they weren't Black Star yet. Yeah, so I saw them perform that, and then when I saw them perform just them two, they did Astronomy, and I was like, oh my God, when are they gonna release this joint? Because they only had at the time, they only had Fortified Live, and then they had Definition. So they did Astronomy first, and I was like, oh, I want this song. This song's so dope. And it wasn't out yet, so that's the first time I saw that. And every time I hear this song,
it was the dope track. It didn't exist at the time.
Every time I hear this song, because I was with your Uncle Will, shout out to Billy Wheels. I was with your Uncle Will. I was with your Uncle Berto. I was with my boy Eric, the Green Eyed Bandit, and we saw this, and on your Uncle Sandy, and we saw them do this performance. At the same stage, they had Dead Prez and Black Moon, so it was just, I'll always remember that performance. So.
Man, whatever. Yeah. I mean,
but I think it's a dope track. And
I saw Chance the Rapper one time.
And you, but I think it's a dope way to start the album off. It really opened up my nose. You know, like they ready to set me up, and they opened up my nose to the rest of the album, and it set a tone. And I think it was like very few albums nowadays like do that. You know, to give you a first track that like really opens you up for the rest of the album. And I think that's something that's missing.
And it's also just like a good microcosm of like Black culture. Like in one, like they drop like 5% of stuff in there. They reference Erykah Badu. They reference like 1,000 different things that are just like if you're like a nerd hip hop head, Black activist, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's black as fuck. It's black as fuck.
Yeah, like everything in astronomy is just like blackity black, blackity black, black. Blackity black, black. Like it's like almost coded language for hip hop heads.
Yep.
It's like hip hop hieroglyphics. It's like hip hop hieroglyphics.
I like that. So the next track we're gonna do, of course, is probably I play this all the time, and to me is a great summer banger. Of course, it's Definition. Like, Lord, you know, it comes on, Lord of Mercy. Oh, yeah. And I thought it's funny. Oh, yeah. It's funny because like coming up, it's the track is a reggae dub, right? And it wasn't. I'm trying to remember whose dub this is. I want to say it's Tenor Saul's dub. But anyway, the first time I actually heard the dub was when KRS-One used it on that song, "The P Is Still Free." And I remember I used to sing that song all the time. I want to say it's the Tenor Saul dub. And then when I heard them, after KRS-One did this Oh So Long Ago in 1998, and then they did it, I was like, oh my God, they did it better than KRS. Like, not to hate on KRS, but they did it better than KRS. You know, because P Is Still Free is about crack and crack whores, right? So, you know, like they did this, and I was just like, man, they really flipped it, and it's really dope. And it's just, and then the video is dope. The whole thing about it is just dope. And I remember in 98, it was just a dope summer track that everybody was rocking.
Yeah, for me, I just like the track, man. I mean, you said we're talking about, yeah, bro. I mean, you really just can't go wrong with it. Like you said, the opening is iconic. I heard it obviously with Mos Def first before I heard it from KRS-One. And I think, dang, I'm trying to think. There's something really smooth.
Let me just make a quick correction, because somebody's gonna get this wrong on a trivia question. It was Boogie Down Productions. KRS-One didn't even go like solo and change the name until later. But if you try to pull it up as KRS-One, the P is still free. It won't come up. It's Boogie
like
Down
you gotta-
Productions. Because I saw somebody lose at a trivia contest for this. So it's Boogie Down Productions. P is still free.
I like that you had to give the like official,
Yeah.
like, hey, for you guys out there, just so y'all know, the track is this, and then, you know, the cliff notes, the credits.
On the oh my God, that's something else that's lost now. You know, like that the liner notes. That's something else that's lost. Shout out to Ruckus Records. So, but,
Yeah, liner notes in general are super ill.
yeah.
My favorite part about Definition is the fact that Equality said my name is in the middle of equality.
Yeah.
Like, as a kid, I thought that was like the smoothest wordplay I'd ever heard in my life. Like, I thought that was like, I was like, oh my God, get it? Because equality. Like, I thought it was like the greatest kind of example.
My favorite line, of course, is I'm sipping wishing well water imported from Pluto.
Imported from Pluto, because that's Fortified Live.
Which
yeah.
he got from he got that line from Fortified Live. That's the line that he used at Fortified Live, and then he brought it back on that track, and I was like, oh my God, I had a heart attack. So, yep.
Listen, I heard Definition first, and then I heard Fortified Live. Like, I think you showed me Fortified Live. I think
I remember letting you listen to some Ruckus tracks, and I think it was Fortified Live. So.
Yeah, but I heard it from Definition first, and I remember one day we were chilling somewhere, and you spit it. You said I'm sipping wishing well water imported from Pluto, and then we both continued, and we both did a different like verse, and I was like, "What are you spitting?" Like,
oh yeah, I remember now. Yep, I remember. Yep, that's sure how it went down. Yep.
whole different track, and then you showed me Fortified Live. I did listen to Ruckus later, and then like a weird, I went to like an Eminem phase, and then like I realized that in the song "Stand," he references Ruckus Records too. So shout out to Ruckus all over the place. Shout out to Ruckus because like Sound Bombing was dope, and Lyricist Lounge was dope, but like yeah, Eminem shouts out Ruckus as well. Because he was on the track on Ruckus Records.
He was on the SoundCloud joint. I think he was on the first SoundCloud Volume 1.
He was in Sound Bombing.
Sound Bombing. Ooh, ouch. Sound Bombing, you're right. Sound Bombing number 1, yeah. So yeah. But now I'm going to go over to the next track, which is, it spins off a definition, and it's called Definition. And they kind of like try to take the same energy from Definition and then put it into another track. This track had to grow on me.
Yeah, I didn't like Redefinition as much as I liked Definition.
Of course, and it had to grow on me, but now I like it. Like, you know, listening to it now, I like it. But I kind of felt like when they say Redefinition, I'm thinking like a remix, and I thought they were gonna go harder. But they didn't go as hard as Definition. But I still like it.
They definitely did like I don't know. I remember when I was younger, I was like, I wish Definition was longer. And then when I found out about Redefinition, I was like, oh, this is exactly what I was looking for. And it kind of isn't. Like, it's good. It's a dope track on its own. I think it suffers from the comparison to Definition. I think if they had just called it Definition and then some other track afterwards, you know, that's a really cool track. But Definition is just so iconic on its own.
No, I agree. I agree. I think it's kind of like World War Z. If they made that movie, if they changed the name of that movie would be mega dope, you know. But since it's nothing like the book, it's horrible. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm not saying Redefinition is horrible. I'm just saying that if they called it something else, then you'd have been like, oh, this goes hard. You know?
I do like this kind of vibey. You know, he sees, you know, but yeah.
All right.
And then he like kind of sing the chorus, like.
Yeah, they like their flows are mad different on there, especially Talib Kweli's. Everything is different, and the beat doesn't go as hard. But like you said, you made a good point. Like if it was called something else, it'll probably be, you know, a lot. But I love it. You know, the next track we're gonna go over is of course the remake of Children's Story, which is not the first time it was remade. Which Slick Rick's Children's Story. Because Snoop Doggy Dogg actually remixed it, and then no, I take that back. Snoop Dogg did not. He remixed Lottie Dottie. My fault. He remixed Lottie Dottie, and then Mos Def did Children's Story. And I remember when it came out, it was kind of controversial because at the time, Puff Daddy was out, and he came out with the shiny suits, and there was like this. It was like a line in the sand between quote unquote backpack rappers and people that like that pop stuff, and they saw this as that shot fired across the bow. And I remember there was a show that he did, and Puff Daddy was in the crowd, and him and Puff Daddy were hanging out, and I can't remember who was interviewing them. He was like, "Yo, how you feel? You think the song was about you?" And P. Diddy, who's been an advocate for Black Star reuniting more than anybody else, was like, "Nah, I know he's not talking about me." So, but I was kind of like, "Really?" So.
Hey man, he said even if they talking about me, they dope. All right. So.
Yeah. So, but I thought it was a dope how he flipped everything. Looking back now, it's kind of, you look at it like, oh, it's respectability politics, But it's still a dope remake. I like,
This is another one that like suffered from my age. I heard this track before I heard the original.
Really?
I
failed you, man. I failed you so many times, man. And this is just another example of me failing you. Like, and you know what? The Children's Story by Slick Rick, the video is actually kind of dope.
It is. But like, this is also, but again, like this was my virgin, my virgin voyage into, hip hop, and it had so many references to so much other hip hop. So like, I wasn't even mad when it happened, but I definitely had no idea. Like, I found out way later on there was a Slick Rick track.
Oh wow!
And I was like, oh
wow! I'm blown right now. And this is just some things that I just assume. I just assume everybody, like wow.
Yeah,
so we're gonna go ahead and go to the next one, which is my favorite. Is Brown Skin Lady, and Godchild will tell you this was when I hosted shows. This was like my go-to song, right? I used to sing this one on stage. Brown Skin Lady.
You're a funny guy, man.
This was like my go-to song, and it's actually the beginning. They take a clip from a movie, a really good movie called Chameleon. I highly recommend it. I used to have it on VHS.
I always wondered what movie that was. Thank you so much.
It's called Chameleon. That clip where he's like, I like light-skinned girls with good hair. That comes from that clip called Chameleon, which is based on a true story. Yeah, it's based on there's a line in there. It's based on a true story. It's actually the intro to this podcast. And but man, and that was like a summer joint to me. Brown Skin Lady was like a summer jam. And every time I listen to that song, I know it sounds like an old fogey. I always say they don't make hip hop like this no more. You know what I mean?
You are an old fogey, but Brown Skin Lady, ironically enough, was always really corny to me.
Really?
Some parts of it I did like. I'm not very confident. Don't get many compliments. She used to have a complex about getting too complex. Like, I like it. It's smooth. It's super smooth. I like that it's an ode to Brown Skin Ladies. Normally in hip hop they talk about Red Bones. It was a nice dish out to Brown. I think I was dating a Brown Skin person at the time. It worked out perfectly. But as far as like bars, it's not really like my first. It's not my first track to go to. It's a really corny track to me.
Wow.
It's a super corny track. It's like the corny. I like it. Like, it's on definition. Like, it's on Black Star. Like, it's an amazing track. I listen to it. I listen to it before I listen to, like, almost any other love song by any other rapper ever. But the whole time, I kind of tried to to myself.
I did not know you felt this way. I did not know. Because I remember your original review, you was like, you was dating somebody, and you was like, you also say it's good that, they're making songs for women that are dark of hue. So I was like, okay, he's woke. He's woke. We didn't say woke back then, but I was like, he's conscious. He's conscious. That's what we said. He's conscious. So.
Against the canvas of the night appears a curious celestial
Black phenomenon. Black people unite and let's all get down. We got to have what? We got to have that love.
So.
I forgot nobody said it was conscious.
Yeah, so yeah, I thought that was dope. I didn't know you felt that way. Because I love that song. Like I
It's a
love
corny
that
story.
song, man.
100% sure you love that song. Like, there's no doubt
Yeah,
about it.
that's like I have bad short-term memory. I have a really bad short-term memory, but that's like one of the top 10 songs that I know from beginning to end. You know what I'm saying? Like the 10 songs I know, that's one of them. So yeah, I didn't know you felt that way though. So, you know what's crazy about Brown Skin Lady? A lot of people my age never heard this song.
Why?
I don't know. Like I'd be like, yo, you ever heard Black Star? They'd be like, oh yeah, I remember, Definition. Or they had an album, and then I'd be like, I play Brown. They'd be like, yo, I didn't know they did this. And I'm like, really? So
Yeah, it's a good track.
yeah,
It's a very solid.
yeah. So the next one we're gonna go to is Boys Will Be Boys. Like B-Boys Will Be Boys. Like that, man. Like I'm not a Zulu no more, but every time I play this, my heart aches, man. Like it really.
I know exactly what you mean. That it's literally. I've used the line "B-boys will be boys" like in poetry. Like, that's like, again, like when I was younger, like basic lyricism was just so impressive to me. So, "B-boys will be boys." And I remember when I first downloaded the track, when I first downloaded the album, that track was not on it.
Really?
Whatever website I got it from, that track was not on it. And I remember when I did get the track, I actually was confused because I was expecting like a verse, and there's like no rhymes in there at all. It was just shout outs to just, everybody now. And then so like it became like my litmus test. Like I would test myself with hip hop by listening to that track. I'm like, the more names I recognized, the like better my wealth of knowledge was. So I like it because it's a dope breakbeat. I like it because it's called B-Boys, B-Boys. And I like it because I was just testing myself with it. So it was just a smooth track.
Yo.
And it's only like 2.5 long, 2 minutes long. So.
Yeah, it's real short. It's real, and you're right. There's no verse. It's just like calling a response. MCs, shout outs and stuff like that. You're right. It's dope. And I'm mad that I remember when I first heard it, it's like I was waiting for them to start rhyming and then it ended. And I was just like, whoa, wait a second.
Yeah, me too. Like I was expecting a verse and it didn't happen. So I was like, did I get the wrong track? Because like I said, at first I didn't even have the track. So I was like, did I get the wrong file? Did they cut it off halfway through?
The next song is KOS, or it actually stands for Knowledge of Self, Determination, which in Swahili is Kujichagulia. And I love this track, number one, because it's like a conscious anthem, but also it has Vinia Mojica. And Vinia Mojica is a singer who sang on a lot of the native tongue stuff, and later on Black Star and then Mos Def's album. And I think she did release a couple of singles under Babito Garcia's label at the time. I think it was Fondulum Records. And it was either that or Xenobite Records, and she did like 2 songs for him. But she's dope. I wish she had released an album. But for back then, she was like the go-to, hook singer for all the backpackers. So yeah. So.
That was one of those tracks that as a kid I really just didn't appreciate. Like that one took time to grow. Like, but even when I was listening to it when I was younger, I was like, I really don't get this track. Like, and I knew I didn't. And like older, like listening to it, it's a really amazing.
It's
track.
a dope track.
It's super vibe.
It's a dope track.
Yeah, like it's super great to chill to. It's smooth out like Soul Sensations, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't beat it.
Yeah, it's very dope. I mean, just the hook, with that, knowledge of self, determination. With that, I mean,
exactly.
Yeah. I always, me and your Uncle Will always appreciated this song. We always appreciated this song. We had a lot of building sessions from this one. So the next one is Hater Players. It's not my favorite track. It's not my favorite track on there. But I can listen to it. Like, it's not, I don't fast forward it. But I kind of feel like, because I know this album was rushed, right? Because initially, they were both going to do separate albums. And then what happened is they did, they did a song with Mr. Man, under Reflection Eternal. They did that song, Fortified Live, and it was always a hit. And I think Rawkus really wanted to, capitalize on it. So they did Definition, and it just ran off. So they decided to put this album together to kind of help promote their solo projects. And I kind of felt like this was a track that they just threw in to complete the album. Because there's only 13 tracks, and really 11 tracks. Because one of them is kind of like a skit, and then you have the intro. But I think they just wanted to throw it in to make it complete.
You're crazy. Hater Players. There's so many bars. There's so many bars.
I felt like it was like rushed. You know?
Man, that was one of my favorite tracks as a kid. That was one of my favorite. That was when my man said, "You like shot clocks, interstate clocks, and black clocks." My point is, your flow gets stopped. That right there, like, come on.
No, I'm not saying this.
Come on,
I'm
I
not
used to
saying
feel
this right.
hard,
It just
you know.
doesn't fit with the overall concept of the album. Of the album.
You don't fit with the whole concept of that album because that is flames.
I hear you. I hear you. Anything else you want to talk about with Hater Players? Dun, 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 dun.
I mean, no, like I think it's also low key an old folky track though, because it was just them complaining about commercialized hip hop.
Dun, 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 dun. And then Yo Yeah is kind of like a skit. I know we used to always joke about that.
Yo.
Yeah. We used to always joke about it when he was like, "Here we are talking about black people are brainwashed and it's 2 in the morning we ran." Ever since then, I ran every red light at 2 in the morning. You know, I refuse to be brainwashed. If it's 1:59, I'ma stop. But at 2 o'clock, from 2 to whatever, I ran every red light.
Ain't no such thing.
So yeah, because I was like, I'm not brainwashed. You know what I'm saying? So
Don't catch me out here. They gonna have me out here stopping at red lights. I'd be darned.
So but yeah, so you skip over that.
I think that's a great like instrumental.
It is. Oh, I mean the way they put it together is really dope. I know, to be honest, I'm gonna be between you and me. Don't tell nobody else. When I was a fledglingly and horrible spoken word artist, I used this track right here to work on my cadence. You know,
yeah,
I did. Like I always played this. I got inspired for a lot of shit on there. A lot of hotepery came from this track.
That was your old school. You're back in the day. You was a hotep.
Yeah, a lot of hotepery came from this song right here. So yep.
A lot of hotepery came from native tongues in general.
True indeed. So the next track is my third favorite track on this album, which is Respiration, which featured Common. I believe this was Common's last
favorite track. It is my favorite track ever. If I could ever pick a track to play as I was dying, it would be Respiration.
Let me ask you this question. And they got a video for this, and I think we're gonna talk about that. What I felt was kind of fucked up in the video.
The video was stupid.
But I like the remix better with Black Thought.
I do not.
Wow.
I like it better. It is nice. It's definitely a good track. Really vibe. They sing like all the remixes. They just felt like singing a lot. It was like, hey, I haven't sang in a long time. You should sing. But it is nice. But I just like the original track. I just hate Common's part. Like I always skip over Common's part.
It's just that I feel like in the video it's fucked up that they let like Tyler Quelly only have like 4 bars and then they cut him off. I was like, wait a second.
Didn't the police like show up in the video?
I don't know what happened. I don't know what the story is behind. I'm gonna go look that up. But I know that.
No, didn't they show up during the recording though?
I don't know. I gotta look that up, B. I don't know. I'm gonna look. You know, maybe I might have to do an addendum. But I just remember watching the video. And he does like 4 lines, 4 to 6 lines, and then it goes right back to the hook, and then Common comes in, and I'm like, so is that what happened?
Which video is them driving in a car?
That's Definition. That was Definition. The police do stop them.
I'm talking about that.
Yeah, and they actually reenacted that. Because that actually happened. I'm talking about for Respiration, because Respiration, it was in black and white, and Common had the fur on. I think he had a fur on. And
hate Common's part. I hate it. Common literally kills the track. Like, and I'm so glad there's like a 45-second instrumental before Common spits, because you can get it's almost like I can pretend the track doesn't have Common on it, and I can still get the outro of the instrumental and then skip, because Common literally kills it. Like, his flow is terrible compared to theirs. I don't know what he's talking about. Like, it isn't even. When I was younger, I liked it because it was easiest to spit, because the lyricism was so simple.
Because he said, I think this is the corniest line. From the shop is where I go.
what I'm saying? Like, he was on the amen corner. I stood looking at my former hood. Felt his spirit in the wind, and my friend was gone for good. I was like, that was corny as a mug, but it was a Pocahontas show.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I felt his spirit on the wind. Nigga, that was small. Like, that wasn't like...
I didn't know you felt that way. I didn't know. I know you wasn't a big fan. I'm not a big fan of Common. I know you wasn't a big fan of. I didn't know you felt that way.
That's where it started.
You think it's demise because you know he had a song for Ruckus called Sun God that was produced by High Tech. That shit is dope.
Is it?
It's called Sun God. It was on the High Tech's first album, and which High Tech has not released a whack album ever. But you know, it's a song called The Sun God, the best Common track ever. Better than I Used to Love Her. Hands down, I'll fight anybody in the street for that.
In the street,
I'll fight anybody in the street. I put the gloves on and everything. We'll go 6 rounds. You know. So
Looking all sweet. Black star keep shining. You like, yo, let me ask you something. I wanna know who you are. Brown skin lady. Yes. Hey, where you going?
This goes to the brown skin lady. Yo, indigenous women like to blend the giving birth to the brown.
So yup. So we're gonna go ahead and move on, but I'm gonna try to find out what happened in the video because they cut Talib Kweli's part. I'm gonna come back to everybody on that. And then a track that me and your Uncle Will love was Thieves in the Night. That wow. Wow.
Oh man, Thieves in the Night.
And it's funny because a lot of kids and a lot of my students that say, you know, I want to be an MC, I'd be like, these are one of the tracks that I play for them. I said, you gotta hear this song. If you really want to write deep shit, this is where you go to. You know, double entendres, metaphors, like all that shit is in here. You know, all of it is in there.
That song is amazing.
It is. The beat.
Like Thieves in the Night from Life, Illusions of Oasis.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I saw that everybody out listening agree that everything you see ain't really how it be. Like, that track is like the epitome of Mos Def's smoothness. Because Mos Def, whatever lyricism he may or may not have to some people, whatever consciousness he may or may not have, you can't deny the man's flow.
Oh, no.
It's just one of the smoothest.
Oh, I agree on so many levels. You know, he's very versatile. So, and I think
cadence and flow,
this
man.
album and Black on Both Sides really, like, you know, showed how he was just mad versatile on so many levels. And he should be in people's top 10. Like, he should be on everybody's top 10. I know I'm biased when I say that. So yeah, I love this. The last one we're gonna do is Twice in a Lifetime, which is kind of like a reboot of Fortified Live, but this time it has Wordsworth and Punchline, who back then, Wordsworth and Punchline, they were on everybody's. If you were a backpack rapper, quote unquote, or underground rapper, they were on your album. And also they did a show on MTV that actually had oh my God, I can't figure out her name. Diana Ross's daughter. I can't remember. I forget her name. Anyway, she's a co-star of Blackish. She was on that MTV show with Wordsworth and Punchline where they did a lot of freestyle comedy skits. So I highly recommend anybody going back to look at it because there's really, some of the skits were corny, but when Wordsworth and Punchline showed up, it was dope. It was dope. And I seen them live. Them motherfuckers can flow. So I love Twice in a Lifetime because it's like they had to have a posse cut, and this posse cut really, really came off.
So I'm letting you know, yeah, bro, that track. And then plus also, like, I like that the title itself is a reference to Fortified Live, you know, because the hook in that song
Once in a Lifetime.
was, this is once in a lifetime. Yeah. So they're like, nah, just joking.
And don't get me wrong, it's not as dope as Fortified Live.
No, like almost, I don't think there's any posse track.
Yeah.
That can really compare to
I can think
the
of a few,
amazingness.
but Fortified Live is dope. You know,
Come
on, you're gonna tell me Scenario is not like the posse cut like ever?
I mean, the instrumental is, but I think lyricism, I have to give it to.
And then
I have to give it to.
with the late great Guru, like what? So anyway, we can debate that some other time. But Twice in a Lifetime I think is a great way to end that album. The only issue I have with this album is that it's short. Again, it's actually
Literally.
it
needs to be like way longer.
You don't count the intro or Yo Ye, and really you don't count B-Boys or B-Boys. They don't actually rhyme. So it's actually like 10 tracks, but it was pieced together because they wanted to come out with their separate albums. It was a good idea for Rawkus. And I just thought it's dope. And it does stand the test of time. It does. Any?
Themes and lyricism and everything. Like, this is an eternal track. Like, this is one of those. Like, I'm never not. In fact, I was walking home from work today, and actually, Definition came on, and I always spit every track on that. I can spit almost every track on that word like beginning to end.
Wow.
Like, almost every track I can spit.
Wow.
And I can't ever just spit it to myself. Like, I'm always out loud, like, Lord
have mercy. All ice and beats and crew. Follow me now. Yeah, that's the joint. Yep.
Like, all the time. Like, everybody's like, what are you saying? Like, it doesn't matter.
All right, man. Yo, so this ends our 20th anniversary review of Mos Def and Talib Kweli, Black Star. Again, shout out to Rawkus Records. If you get a chance to check out that catalog, please do. Interesting history of Rawkus Records, because we know that one of the co-founders of Rawkus Records was the grandson of Rupert Murdoch. Yes, that Rupert Murdoch. So, any final thoughts? Anything over on the album, sir?
I'm probably going to listen to it again, like, as soon as we hang out.
Cool. Also, we want to get your contact information in case you want to get booked. Yes, he does have an honorarium. He does have a per diem. And you do got to fly him out just to give you a heads up. So give your contact information, B-Boy Sabi.
I mean, Instagram is B-Boy Sabi, BBOYCABI. Email address is magnetic, that's magnetik17@gmail.com. And Facebook, it's just David Rodriguez. Reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram over my email. But, yeah, I'm always down. I like from afar. If you want, I'm not, what's his name? Who had it? Was it Black Thought? Who had a thing to say about ghostwriters? Having issues with ghostwriting.
He said he'll ghostwrite. He said he don't mind doing it. He just said that you can't be the top 5 and have a ghostwriter.
Yeah, whatever. He was being a purist. But,
it's fucking Black Thought, though. Come on, man.
I hear you, but like KRS-One says, it's okay. So
no, he's not saying it's not okay. He's just saying that you can't be in the top 5.
Top 5 what though? You know what I'm saying? Like,
you know what? We're gonna have this debate some other time.
But yeah, I'll write your bars from afar or from up close. And yeah, man, just listen to this album. You don't even want to just hit me and talk about this album, honestly.
True indeed. All right, everybody. Once again, another episode of Where My Killer Tape At. You know where we at. Please listen to the Black Star album. Mos Def and Talib Kweli, Black Star. Let us know what you think. We're going to put all the information in the show notes and that old review as well. Peace. There you have it, episode 17 of Where My Killer Tape At. Happy Father's Day to you all. Real quick, if you want to continue discussion on Twitter or on Instagram or IG, whatever you want to call it, use the hashtag Where My Killer Tape At. Killer spelled Killa. If you want to hit me up on the Twitters, you can check me at Omi's Podcast, OMIS Podcast, or where everybody finds me at Dan Tres Omi, DANTRESOMI. Yo, I love y'all. Thank y'all again. And I know this was fun. I hope y'all appreciate it, man. Best Father's Day present I ever got. Peace.